Is your heart still waiting for a season that will never come, holding on to the last fragile petals of a love that has already faded, leaving your spirit exhausted by a hope that refuses to surrender to a needed ending? Welcome to my vessel of light. If you're here, perhaps you felt the silent, lonely ache of a heart that is no longer full. Maybe you have strived for a love that doesn't exist, choosing to fight for a hope that is slowly killing you. You're about to embark on a tender, timeless narrative, a story that gently unfolds the sacred truth that healing a broken heart is not about fighting to keep it alive, but about finding the courage to let it go. This journey reveals how to find the courage to surrender to the seasons of your heart. It will guide you to find the strength to let go, allowing a new spring to bloom when the time is right. Once upon a time, in a small village where every garden told a different story of hope and loss, lived a young woman named Isolde. Her life was, from the outside, a picture of serene calmness and quiet solitude. Her heart had once been a vibrant garden filled with the most beautiful blooming roses. The most cherished of all was a deep red rose, the symbol of a passionate and hopeful love that she believed was her destiny. But that love, so carefully nurtured with her boundless affection and unwavering support, was slowly, painfully fading. The petals were beginning to drop. The colors were losing their vibrancy. A cold, harsh season of silence was quickly approaching. Isolde, however, refused to surrender to the coming winter. She fought with all her might to keep the rose alive. She covered it with a thick blanket every night and watered its thirsty roots every single day with tears and devotion. She whispered words of encouragement and unyielding hope to the rose, promising it that spring would come again, even though she knew deep in her heart that this particular winter was long overdue and would be brutal. Her endless efforts to save the dying rose left her feeling profoundly exhausted, her spirit heavy with the weight of her unyielding hope. Her hands were tired from the work. Her heart was tired from the pain of fighting a losing battle. The reflection that greeted her in the morning mirror was of a woman with tired eyes. Her inner light was dimming, overshadowed by the sorrow of her desperate, unreciprocated struggle to keep the rose alive and her heart from breaking completely. Isolde's life had become a silent, lonely battle. She was a prisoner of her own hope, a belief that true love must be fought for until the very end, even if it meant her own complete emotional and spiritual exhaustion. She yearned to find peace. She longed for a way to let go of the pain, but the fear of letting go of the hope was a stronger, more powerful force that held her captive. She felt trapped in an endless cycle. The profound emotional turning point arrived on a cold, silent night. The first snow of winter had begun to fall, covering the entire garden in a peaceful white blanket, a beautiful and poignant funeral shroud for her dying rose. Isolde, filled with a deep sense of panic, ran to cover the red rose with her blanket one last time. But a cold, gentle wind whispered in her ear. It was the voice of the winter, a voice of timeless wisdom and profound acceptance. "Why do you fight me, child?" The voice resonated deep in her soul. "The cold is not here to destroy. It is here to rest. It is here to prepare the earth for a new life, for a new beginning. Your rose must rest." This was the moment of profound realization. A complex tapestry of gentle pain and aching tenderness washed over Isolde. The snow was not an enemy. It was a sacred invitation to a new season of healing. A deep wave of profound emotion, sharp and poignant, flooded her soul. The rose's life was a mirror of her own heart. A beautiful thing, damaged by old neglect, waiting for her to give it the permission to rest, to let go. Isolde finally understood. The battle she had been fighting was not for love. It was a battle against the natural cycles of life. The key, she realized, was not to erase the pain of her past, but to acknowledge its necessity. To lovingly tend to her own heart, to give it the rest and the peace it so desperately needed. The greatest act of love, she understood, was not to cling to the dying rose, but to let it surrender to the winter, to let go of the hope. Isolde began her tender journey by creating a ritual of surrender. She would sit every morning in her garden, now covered in a blanket of snow, and talk to the silent earth beneath, honoring its wisdom and its patience. She would whisper words of profound affirmation to the ground below. "My heart must rest," she would say. "I will let go of this hope. I will trust in the promise of a new spring." She was giving her heart permission to heal. This new daily ritual brought with it an unparalleled sense of peace, a quiet joy that resonated deep within her soul. It wasn't about forgetting her past, but about transforming its weight into wisdom and compassion. As the days gracefully unfolded, Isolde felt a palpable lightening of her spirit. The burdens she had carried for so long were slowly dissolving. Her heart, once a battlefield, was now a place of profound stillness and quiet hope. Her life was filled with a new purpose. It was the purpose of honoring her inner self, of living a life that was finally, completely aligned with the natural seasons of her own heart and her own soul. Her profound healing wasn't about finding a new partner. It was about the quiet, magnificent completion of her own soul, which then shone outward as a beautiful, powerful beacon of light, inspiring others simply by existing as a whole and healed woman. When the spring finally arrived, the garden was filled with new life. And there, where the red rose once stood, a new, more vibrant flower had bloomed. It was a testament to the strength of the winter and the promise of a new season. And today, this light, the gentle glow of self-liberation and acceptance of your unique story, belongs to you. Your existence doesn't need a flawless result to feel its immeasurable worth. Your heart doesn't need a perfect partner to find its profound peace. You are a masterpiece, intricately woven, gracefully unfolding with every imperfect step. You are a radiant vessel of light, destined to bloom beautifully, piece by gentle piece, in your own perfect, sacred time, radiating a connection that begins from within. If this story touched your heart, if you found a quiet echo of your own journey within this profound tale of healing a broken heart, please consider giving this video a like. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear which part of this story resonated most deeply with you. And if you seek a gentle refuge, a space where understanding blossoms and weariness finds solace, come rest with us and subscribe to my Vessel of Light.